Question 1. Who is accountable for maximizing the value of the product resulting from the work of the Scrum team? A. The development team. B. The Scrum Master. C. The product owner. D. The stakeholders. Answer: C. The product owner. The product owner is singularly accountable for maximizing the value of the product, which includes effective product backlog management. This role involves clearly articulating the product goal, creating and clearly communicating product backlog items, ordering them, and ensuring the product backlog is transparent and understood. Think of the product owner as the key decision maker for what gets built next, always striving to deliver the most valuable features to users. This accountability is crucial for guiding the Scrum team toward impactful outcomes. Question 2. What is the primary purpose of the daily Scrum? A. To inspect progress toward the sprint goal and adapt the sprint backlog as necessary. B. To discuss problems with the product owner and resolve impediments. C. To review completed work and demonstrate it to stakeholders. D. To plan the next sprint's work in detail. Answer: A. To inspect progress toward the sprint goal and adapt the sprint backlog as necessary. The daily Scrum is a 15-minute event for the developers to synchronize their activities and create a plan for the next 24 hours. Its core purpose is to inspect progress towards the sprint goal and make any necessary adaptations to the sprint backlog, ensuring the team remains focused and on track. It's not primarily for stakeholder demonstrations or detailed future planning, but rather a quick internal meeting to align and replan the work for the day. Think of it as a daily huddle to ensure everyone is pulling in the same direction towards the sprint goal. Question 3. Which of the following is a time box for the sprint planning event? A. Maximum 8 hours for a 1-month sprint. B. Maximum 4 hours for a 2-week sprint. C. Maximum 2 hours for every week of the sprint. D. Maximum 8 hours regardless of sprint length. Answer: A. Maximum 8 hours for a 1-month sprint. Sprint planning is a collaborative event where the entire Scrum team plans the work to be performed in the upcoming sprint. Its time box is a maximum of 8 hours for a 1-month sprint, and for shorter sprints, the event is usually shorter. This time box ensures that the team dedicates sufficient time to establish a clear sprint goal and select product backlog items, but also prevents the planning from dragging on indefinitely. Remember that time boxes are maximums, meaning the event can conclude earlier if its objective is met. Question 4. What does the term empiricism mean in Scrum? A. Making decisions based on extensive upfront planning and detailed documentation. B. Making decisions based on observation, experience, and experimentation. C. Relying solely on the product owner's intuition for product development. D. Following a predefined, strict process without deviations. Answer: B. Making decisions based on observation, experience, and experimentation. Empiricism in Scrum means that knowledge comes from experience and making decisions based on what is observed. Scrum employs an iterative, incremental approach to optimize predictability and control risk by relying on transparency, inspection, and adaptation. Instead of rigid upfront plans, the team learns and adjusts through hands-on work and feedback, allowing for flexibility as new information emerges. This approach allows the Scrum team to frequently inspect their progress and adapt their plans. Question 5. The development team is cross-functional, meaning A. Its members have all the skills necessary to do all the work. B. Its members specialize in specific layers of the product architecture. C. Its members can perform any role within the Scrum team. D. Its members are capable of performing multiple roles outside of the Scrum team. Answer: A. Its members have all the skills necessary to do all the work. A cross-functional team implies that the team as a whole possesses all the necessary skills to create an increment without relying on external parties not part of the Scrum team. This doesn't mean every individual developer knows every skill, but rather that the collective team has the diverse expertise required to take an item from the product backlog to a done increment. This characteristic enables the team to be self-managing and deliver value independently. Question 6. When is a product backlog item considered done? A. When the product owner accepts it. B. When it has been tested and all defects are resolved. C. When it meets the definition of done. D. When the development team completes coding. Answer: C. When it meets the definition of done. A product backlog item is done when it meets the definition of done, DoD. The DoD is a formal description of the state of the increment when it meets the quality measures required for the product. This shared understanding of done ensures transparency and consistency in the work produced, confirming that the increment is usable and potentially releasable. It's a critical commitment that helps the Scrum team ensure quality and avoid ambiguity about what finished truly means. Question 7. What is the accountability of the Scrum Master regarding the daily Scrum? A. To lead the daily Scrum and facilitate all discussions. B. To ensure the daily Scrum takes place and its purpose is understood. C. To update the sprint backlog during the daily Scrum. D. To report progress to management based on the daily Scrum. Answer: B. To ensure the daily Scrum takes place and its purpose is understood. The Scrum Master serves the Scrum team by ensuring that the daily Scrum happens and that its purpose is understood by the developers. While they may coach the developers on how to conduct the daily Scrum effectively, the Scrum Master does not lead or facilitate the meeting unless the developers request their assistance. The accountability lies in fostering an environment where the developers can self-manage and conduct the event themselves, ensuring transparency and efficient inspection of progress towards the sprint goal. Question 8. The 3 pillars of empiricism are: A. Planning, execution, and control. B. People, process, and product. C. Transparency, inspection, and adaptation. D. Vision, strategy, and tactics. Answer: C. Transparency, inspection, and adaptation. The Scrum framework is founded on empiricism, which relies on these 3 pillars. Transparency ensures that the emergent process and work are visible to those performing the work and those receiving the work. Inspection involves checking the progress and the state of Scrum artifacts frequently to detect undesirable variances. Adaptation means adjusting the process or product when inspection reveals that something is deviating outside acceptable limits. Together, these pillars enable continuous learning and improvement in an environment of uncertainty. Question 9. What is the sprint goal? A. A detailed list of all product backlog items to be completed in the sprint. B. A high-level target for the sprint that provides coherence to the selected product backlog items. C. The estimated value of the increment delivered at the end of the sprint. D. A commitment by the developers to complete all planned work. Answer: B. A high-level target for the sprint that provides coherence to the selected product backlog items. The sprint goal is a single objective for the sprint, created during sprint planning. It provides a flexible target that the developers commit to achieve, even if the exact work needed to meet it is somewhat uncertain. It serves as a guiding star, helping the developers understand why they are building the increment and providing flexibility regarding the specific items, which may need to be adjusted during the sprint. The sprint goal helps the team focus and collaborate effectively, ensuring that their efforts align with a valuable outcome. Question 10. Who is responsible for managing the product backlog? A. The development team. B. The Scrum Master. C. The product owner. D. The product owner and the development team collaboratively. Answer: C. The product owner. The product owner is solely accountable for managing the product backlog, which includes its content, availability, and ordering. While they may delegate some of the work of product backlog management to others, such as refinement activities with the developers, the ultimate accountability for maximizing value through the product backlog remains with the product owner. Think of the product owner as the captain of the product ship, charting its course and prioritizing its destinations. Question 11. What happens if the development team realizes during a sprint that they will not be able to complete the work they forecasted? A. They should extend the sprint time box. B. They should inform the product owner immediately to renegotiate the sprint backlog. C. They should work overtime to meet the forecast. D. They should cancel the sprint. Answer: B. They should inform the product owner immediately to renegotiate the sprint backlog. If the developers determine that they cannot meet the sprint goal, they should immediately communicate this with the product owner. The product owner and developers then collaborate to negotiate the scope of the sprint backlog to find a solution, often by deselecting or modifying some product backlog items. Extending the sprint or forcing overtime are anti-patterns that undermine Scrum's predictability and sustainable pace. The goal is to adapt collaboratively to maintain transparency and deliver the most valuable increment possible. Question 12. Which Scrum value is most closely associated with the Scrum team committing to achieving the sprint goal and supporting each other? A. Openness. B. Respect. C. Focus. D. Commitment. Answer: D. Commitment. Commitment is a core Scrum value where the Scrum team members commit to achieving their goals and to supporting each other. This includes the developers committing to achieving the sprint goal and the product owner committing to maximizing product value. This value fosters a sense of collective responsibility and dedication within the team. When team members are committed, they are more likely to overcome challenges and deliver high-quality work together. Question 13. How does the Scrum team typically refine the product backlog? A. By having the product owner do it alone before sprint planning. B. As a continuous activity throughout the sprint, involving the developers and product owner. C. During the daily Scrum, focusing on the next few days' work. D. During the sprint review, based on stakeholder feedback. Answer: B. As a continuous activity throughout the sprint, involving the developers and product owner. Product backlog refinement is the act of breaking down and further defining product backlog items into smaller, more precise items. It is an ongoing activity, not a separate event, and typically consumes no more than 10% of the developer's time. This collaborative effort between the product owner and developers ensures that upcoming items are well understood, estimated, and ready for future sprints, contributing to overall transparency and efficient planning. Question 14. What is the primary purpose of the sprint review? A. To inspect the increment and adapt the product backlog if needed. B. To discuss team performance and identify areas for process improvement. C. To approve the work completed during the sprint. D. To demonstrate unfinished work to stakeholders for early feedback. Answer: A. To inspect the increment and adapt the product backlog if needed. The sprint review is held at the end of the sprint to inspect the increment and adapt the product backlog as needed. It involves the Scrum team and key stakeholders collaborating on what was done in the sprint and what has changed in their environment. This inspection allows for critical feedback and adjustments to the product backlog for future sprints. It's a working session, not just a presentation, focused on maximizing future value. Question 15. Who is responsible for tracking the overall progress toward the product goal? A. The development team. B. The Scrum Master. C. The product owner. D. All members of the Scrum team. Answer: C. The product owner. The product owner is accountable for effectively managing the product backlog to maximize the value of the product, which inherently includes tracking progress toward the product goal. They decide what goes into the product backlog and its order based on maximizing value. While the entire Scrum team contributes to achieving the product goal, the product owner holds the specific accountability for its achievement and transparently communicating its progress. Question 16. What is the definition of done used for? A. To create a comprehensive list of all tasks needed to complete a product backlog item. B. To ensure transparency by providing a shared understanding of what it means for work to be complete. C. To determine the amount of work to forecast into a sprint. D. To define the team's working agreements and processes. Answer: B. To ensure transparency by providing a shared understanding of what it means for work to be complete. The definition of done is a formal description of the state of the increment when it meets the quality measures required for the product. Its primary purpose is to create transparency around what done means, ensuring that everyone involved has a shared understanding that the increment is usable and potentially releasable. It's a commitment that guides the developers in their work and helps stakeholders trust the quality of the product. Question 17. The sprint retrospective is an opportunity for the Scrum team to A. Discuss issues with stakeholders and gain their feedback on the product. B. Inspect how the last sprint went with regards to individuals, interactions, processes, and tools, and adapt for the next sprint. C. Review the completed increment and decide what to do in the next sprint. D. Present the work done to the product owner and get approval. Answer: B. Inspect how the last sprint went with regards to individuals, interactions, processes, and tools, and adapt for the next sprint. The sprint retrospective is a key event for inspection and adaptation regarding the Scrum team's process. It's an opportunity for the Scrum team to inspect itself and create a plan for improvements to be enacted during the upcoming sprint. This focus on continuous process improvement allows the team to become more effective and enjoyable to work with, rather than focusing on the product itself or stakeholder feedback. It's about how the team works together, not what they built. Question 18. Who can cancel a sprint? A. The Scrum Master. B. The development team. C. The product owner. D. Any stakeholder. Answer: C. The product owner. Only the product owner has the authority to cancel a sprint. A sprint might be cancelled if the sprint goal becomes obsolete, or if the product backlog items selected for the sprint are no longer valuable. While the Scrum Master can advise the product owner to consider cancellation, and the developers might highlight the need, the final decision rests solely with the product owner. Sprint cancellation is a rare event, as it's very disruptive and wasteful. Question 19. What is the primary accountability of the developers within a Scrum team? A. Managing the product backlog. B. Ensuring the Scrum process is followed. C. Creating any aspect of a usable increment each sprint. D. Facilitating Scrum events. Answer: C. Creating any aspect of a usable increment each sprint. The developers are the people in the Scrum team who are committed to creating any aspect of a usable increment each sprint. This includes designing, building, testing, and adapting the product. Their accountability is to deliver a done increment that meets the definition of done by the end of each sprint. This focus on delivering working software sets them apart from other team members. Question 20. What is the purpose of the product goal? A. To define the scope of the upcoming sprint. B. To describe a future state of the product which can serve as a target for the Scrum team to plan against. C. To ensure the product backlog contains all necessary features for a release. D. To provide a detailed roadmap for product development over several years. Answer: B. To describe a future state of the product which can serve as a target for the Scrum team to plan against. The product goal describes a future state of the product that the Scrum team plans against. It's the long-term objective for the Scrum team, acting as the target for the product backlog. Every sprint moves the team closer to achieving the product goal. It provides direction and coherence for the entire product development effort, offering a stable objective even as the specific features to achieve it may evolve. Question 21. How does Scrum promote self-management within the development team? A. By prescribing detailed tasks for each team member. B. By empowering the development team to determine how to best accomplish their work. C. By having the Scrum Master assign work to individual developers. D. By requiring formal approval for all decisions made by the team. Answer: B. By empowering the development team to determine how to best accomplish their work. Self-managing teams choose how and who does the work within the sprint backlog. This means developers are empowered to decide the best way to accomplish the sprint goal and manage their own work rather than being directed by external parties. This autonomy fosters creativity, ownership, and adaptability, as the people closest to the work are best suited to decide how it gets done. It's about giving the team the freedom to organize themselves to achieve their commitments. Question 22. Which statement is true about the sprint backlog? A. It is created solely by the product owner during sprint planning. B. It is a highly detailed, immutable plan for the entire sprint. C. It is composed of the sprint goal, the product backlog items selected for the sprint, and the plan for delivering them. D. It can be changed by anyone on the Scrum team throughout the sprint. Answer: C. It is composed of the sprint goal, the product backlog items selected for the sprint, and the plan for delivering them. The sprint backlog is the developer's plan for the sprint. It is a real-time picture of the work that the developers plan to accomplish during the sprint to achieve the sprint goal. While the developers update it as they learn more, the fundamental components are the sprint goal, the selected product backlog items, and the plan for delivering the increment. It's a living artifact, collaboratively owned and adapted by the developers. Question 23. What is the role of management outside the Scrum team in Scrum? A. To direct the development team and assign tasks. B. To help implement organizational changes that support the Scrum team. C. To control the budget and resources allocated to the Scrum team. D. To approve the definition of done for the product. Answer: B. To help implement organizational changes that support the Scrum team. Management plays a crucial role in enabling Scrum teams by removing organizational impediments and fostering an environment conducive to agility. This involves supporting the Scrum Master in implementing changes to processes, structures, and culture that allow the Scrum team to thrive. They help clear the path for the Scrum team to self-manage and deliver value, rather than directing their day-to-day work. Their focus is on the ecosystem, not the individual work items. Question 24. A Scrum team should be: A. Large enough to complete all forecasted work quickly. B. Cross-functional and self-managing. C. Composed of at least 15 members for efficiency. D. Organized by functional departments, e.g., separate QA team, dev team. Answer: B. Cross-functional and self-managing. A Scrum team is a small, cohesive unit consisting of a product owner, Scrum Master, and developers. To be effective, it must be cross-functional, meaning it possesses all the skills needed to create an increment, and self-managing, meaning the team decides how to accomplish the work. This structure enables agility, autonomy, and efficiency by eliminating external dependencies and promoting direct collaboration. Think of it as a specialized unit with all the necessary tools and authority to complete its mission. Question 25. The increment is: A. A detailed plan for the next sprint. B. The sum of all the product backlog items completed during a sprint and the value of the increments of all previous sprints. C. A baseline of the product's features before any new work begins. D. A new version of the product released to users every sprint. Answer: B. The sum of all the product backlog items completed during a sprint and the value of the increments of all previous sprints. The increment is the sum of all the product backlog items done during a sprint and the value of the increments of all previous sprints. It is a concrete stepping stone toward the product goal and must be usable, regardless of whether the product owner decides to release it. Each increment builds upon all prior increments, and they must all work together, ensuring that the total sum of completed work is always ready for use. It's about cumulative value delivered, not just the latest piece.